Hello, fellow Inquisitors! Split Persona here, and welcome back to our final character class for Inquisitor Martyr. Today, we are going to look over the TECH ADEPT. Now, this class here is your Summoner class, and unlike the other ones, this one here is a DLC class. So you're not going to get this with the base game. You have to purchase this in order to play as this class. This one here is definitely by far my probably all-time favorite class. In any game I play, I love playing as either a magic summoner or just a straight-up wizard. And the TECH ADEPT definitely fills that summoner class. So in this class breakdown, we're going to do the same thing we did with the Secutor. There's going to be two parts to this video. The first, we're going to go over, like we did with the Crusader and the Assassin, break down the character itself, starting weapons, starting armor, you know, the abilities that those have. And then in the second part, we are going to look at the constructs, your special ability summons. Now, that will be in a part 2. I'm hoping to be able to record both episodes today and get them pretty much back-to-back released, hopefully. If not, they'll be within a day or two of each other, same as with the Secutor class. But without further ado, let us jump into it. Okay, so the first subclass we're going to look at is the Secutor. Now, this group here is definitely going to be focused on healing and survivability. Your starting perk is Parasitic Biolink. When a construct takes damage, you heal for 1% of maximum health. Basically what that means is, as your constructs or your summons take damage, for every bit of damage they take, you heal 1% of your maximum health. So if you have, you know, a bunch of miniature constructs, and you have like a giant swarm of them going out, and every last one of them is getting damaged, each time one of them gets damaged, and let's say you have 5 of them, well, you're going to be getting 5% of your maximum health back every single tick. So that is a very good perk to have as far as survivability first thing off the bat. Even your attributes here, you're starting off with pretty much 7 in Bionics, which is, you know, plus 1% HP and suppression for the TECH ADEPT and the constructs per point. You're starting off with more health than a lot of the other ones. And combining this with it, this class, or this subclass, the Secutor, is definitely going to be your best as far as survivability, I would say. You've got 6 in Logic and 3 in Mind Link. If you go over here to the inventory, you start with Electroid Shielding. Redirect damage. Creates a 10-meter aura where 150% of damage dealt is gained as HP by the constructs. Lasts for 20 seconds. Now, if you pair that with your starting perk over here, the Biolink, as your constructs deal damage, okay, and take damage, you're going to be healing. But with this ability from your armor, as they deal damage, they will heal themselves. So it'll be a never-ending healing cycle for both your constructs and you. So this is definitely this class here, the Secutor, is definitely something you're going to want to start off with if you're wanting to try out this class, I would say. this is definitely one for survivability. As far as weapons, your starting weapons are going to be melee. Your primary here is the Omnissiah Axe Beta. You have Strike, Armor Piercing, High Suppression, Single Target. Single Powerful Close Quarters Blow. Then you have Wide Strike, Cone Effect, AoE, Knockdown, Knockback, Sweeping Close Quarters Attack, hits multiple enemies. Then in your other slot, you have pretty much the same thing. You have a Voltaic Axe Beta. You have Strike, Cone Effect, AoE, Shock, and Vulnerability, Heat. Single Powerful Close Quarters Blow, Voltaic Strike, Chain, AoE, Stun, and Shock. Strike the ground with the Voltaic Axe to shock nearby enemies with lightning. So both your weapons that you're starting with are close quarters combat. So you're probably not going to be dealing a ton of damage yourself unless you get up close and personal. You're going to be more relying on your constructs. Your constructs are going to be dealing damage in order to activate this redirect damage perk in order to heal themselves. And then you're going to be using your biolink. When a construct takes damage, you heal. So you're going to want them to take damage, pop that ability so that as they deal damage, they heal themselves, so that both of you can survive forever. One of the other things to mention is, because this is a DLC, if you skip the tutorial, you automatically start out at level 7 on all of them. So that is why on the regular characters you're 5, on these you are a 7 because this is DLC. For your passives, everything is unlocked except for Construct Ability, Movement, Construct Specialty. Puritan and Radical are story mission pathways. You can only get those unlocked farther on down the story. Construct Defense, Construct Offense, Construct Abilities, and Construct Specialization are unique to the TECH Adept. Those passives modify your summons. So if you want to make them stronger, if you want to make them healthier, if you want to make them, you know, deal unique perks, that is what you're going to want to go into, is one of these 4 trees. So that there is the Secutor. Like I said, he's going to definitely be your primary survivaler. He's going to have a lot of health. He's going to heal a lot more than the others. But that's him. And we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so your next one is your Dominus. And your Dominus is pretty much your pure summoner. His whole purpose is just to summon in constructs and to have them deal pretty much all the damage. Your starting perk here is plus 2% Supreme All Resist per construct for the TECH Adept and constructs in a 10-meter aura. So for every construct you have, you get a 2% All Resist, a Supreme All Resist. So if you have let's say 10 constructs on the field, and if you set up your skill perks correctly in your summons, you can get that many. You can actually get more if you do it correct. You can have, 20 Supreme All Resist as long as they're in a 10-meter aura. This one here, you start off with 5 Logic, 5 Bionics, and 6 Mind Link. Mind Link is, you get max data flux and damage reduction for the TECH Adept and the constructs. So this one here is definitely a good one to have for this class, simply because you are going to want to keep as many constructs alive as possible to keep this perk active. If we look at our inventory that you start with, you have the Techno Martyr vestment. And if you look, it's an empty slot. It's very similar to the one Secutor armor, where you can put in another Secutor power. This one here allows you to add another construct summons. So, like I said, this one here, your Dominus, is your pure summoner class. It starts off completely set up for pure summoning. Even your weapon is set up for your constructs. You have the Plasma Caliber Beta. You have Short Burst, Long Range, Area Effect, AoE, Rapid Fire, Armor Breaking, Slow, and Spread. A short burst that fires multiple shots. Basic standard stuff. But it's this one here, Plasma Beam, that makes this weapon unique. Long range, channeled, barrage, slow, and target designator. Damage the target with a continuous channeled beam attack. As long as the beam is active, constructs attacking the beam's target will deal an additional 50% damage. Like I said, this class here, the Dominus, is set up primarily for using your constructs purely for summoning in large groups of them, having them take a ton of hits, and having them deal out a ton of damage. These weapons here, the Plasma Caliber Beta, you are going to want to make sure that it has Plasma Beam on it, because that additional 50% damage, you would not believe how fast a group of constructs can whittle down a boss when they are geared out right, and you have that targeted. So whenever you get into a boss fight, if you're fighting with other players or in a group with, even just some friends and stuff, or some randoms, if you're running this class and you have this weapon equipped and you have your constructs set up right, your constructs can pretty much wipe out bosses on their own. As long as you have this and you can designate targets, you can ping a target, keep channeling the beam into it, and your constructs will just wipe it out completely. As far as your passives, you've got pretty much everything here unlocked except for movement. Movement is the only thing that is locked. Everything else is unlocked. So you can completely start speccing into your construct ability as soon as you get started. And as far as a secondary weapon, you don't start with one. You have to actually start playing the game and find one. So you get that. And the other thing is, I don't normally talk about equipped items, your belt tools. Your belt tool does not, you don't start off with a grenade or a pair of mines. You start off with another slot for summoning another set of constructs. So you're already starting off with 2 armor pieces that are allowing you to summon 2 additional constructs, as well as the 2 that are on your weapon. So that is 4 construct slots that you have open to you first thing off the bat. So this class, the Dominus, is very much geared towards just summoning in large groups of constructs, very powerful constructs, and just having them take tons of damage hits and dishing out tons of damage themselves. So that is the Dominus, and let's move on to the last one. Okay. And our last one is the Scourge. Now, whereas our Secutor was focused primarily on healing himself and his constructs, the Dominus was purely a summoner that was pretty much also a tanker. The Secutor is more your basic general support with the ability to summon. Your starting perk is plus 50% range damage bonus to the TECH ADEPT and or the constructs when there are no enemies within 5 meters of them. The bonus is calculated individually. So pretty much the same as some of the other classes. You get that 50% range damage bonus if there's no enemies close to you, but that also applies to your constructs. So you're not going to want to really use any range or any melee constructs with this class. You're going to want to try to focus on some of the ranged ones. So this perk is, like I said, this class is going to turn you into a support class to start off with. You start off with 7 logic, which is base damage again. You start off with 5 bionics and 4 mind link. As far as inventory, your armor here, you have repair constructs. Instantly repairs 30% HP for constructs in a 20-meter radius. Plus 35% damage bonus and 25% movement speed for allied units in its area of effect for 15 seconds on use. That armor also functions very well with the Secutor. Not only will it heal, it will also give them a damage bonus. So it's, like I said, all these classes can use the armor from one to the other. You just start out with this armor and you start off with certain perks and they don't become unlocked until you reach certain levels. But this one here is very much a support class. Now if you notice, it says plus 35% damage and 25% movement speed for allied units, not constructs. You can use this effect on your allies. It doesn't go and heal them like it will your constructs, but it's supposed to give them a damage bonus and movement speed. Now, I don't know if it is bugged out, but from everything I've seen, it does work. So it's supposed to, like I said, it does say allied units. So I haven't tried it. If anybody has tried it and they've seen that it does work, let me know. Your weapon is the Radium Carbine Beta. Now, this one is definitely by far probably one of my favorite weapons, simply because this is a DOT weapon, and it still allows you 2 summon slots right here, as well as giving you the ability to apply poison. So you have single shot, armor breaking, knockback, target designator, single target, and poison. Delivers a single shot at the target, deals 20% damage against poisoned enemies. Then you have full auto. Spread moderate, single target, poison DOT. Continuous fire as long as you are holding the button. So this one here will, it will apply poison to them. But if you use single shot, it also gives you the target designator ability that your Dominus starting weapon had as well. So this is a very good support weapon to have. And then as far as a secondary weapon, you do not have a secondary weapon to start with. You just have the radium carbine. Your passives, your construct ability, and your construct specialization are locked. Everything else is unlocked. So those two there, you'll have to level up to get them unlocked. But everything else is good to go. Like I said, this one here, this class, is very much going to be a support class. You're going to be you're more than likely going to be towards the back. You're going to be shooting from a range. You're going to be activating your perk. You're going to be activating your armor ability. You're going to want to go, and there are actual turrets that you can set down that will heal, that will boost weapon damage, and that will boost armor. So more than likely, if you are running with a group, you will use probably those type of constructs in a build like this. The Scourge is definitely going to be, I would say, at least if you're running it based off of how it was designed, you're more than likely going to be hanging at the back of the group. You're not going to be dishing out a ton of damage. You're not going to be, tanking bosses. You are going to be a support class. So that is the 3 TECH ADEPT subclasses. And this is part 1 of the video. Part 2 will be coming out shortly after. So hopefully you guys liked the video. I'm not going to do a actual playthrough and show off the actual, weapon and armor abilities, because the next episode is going to be a little bit longer because it requires me to actually show off the constructs. The next one's going to be quite a long episode, kind of like how part 2 was of the Secutor class. So this one here, I'm just going to end right here. But hopefully you guys did like it. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good day.